Hello, we're live.
Hey, thanks for joining us here for a special Queens Roundtable here on FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women like you. I am so delighted to be here back with my Fly Nubian Queen family. So today, on today's broadcast, we are going to be memorializing our brothers and sisters that have been slain by law enforcement. We want to make sure that during this time of uprising. Our sister Vicky has coined this the holy uprising, and we want to keep that hashtag going. But we want to make sure that as yesterday George Floyd was memorialized, and today he'll be laid to rest, we want to remember all of those that have gotten publicity and those who have not even gotten publicity, because we know we have a long-standing history in this country of our people being murdered by law enforcement or just by racist men and women in this country. But in these recent years, we just want to be mindful to memorialize our people. I know Ronique and I, we've had some conversations just around all of this, and she has shared with me that the Trayvon Martin murder was so significant to her. And for her, that was her awakening to the system in which we live. That was the thing that opened up her eyes to what was really going on and helping her to understand that something was wrong. And so something that I realized with each wave of that we experience our brothers and sisters losing their lives, there is an awakening that takes place with our people. We are becoming more aware of the systemic racism that we have endured for years. We realize that our situations have not gotten better over the years. And so we are starting to step up and demand, and it is very costly for us to have this awakening. It has cost us, it has cost the lives of those that we will be naming today. So we will be spending some time just saying their names, and we just want to make sure that we also acknowledge and recognize those who are nameless, those that we don't have their names, those that didn't get media coverage, but were still victims to the brutal assaults by law enforcement and racist men and women in this country.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
So we'll start off by just saying their names. And Jade, I'll let you start.
Thank you. Thank you. And everyone, welcome to FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women like you. So we're honoring today George Floyd, Eric Garner, David McAtee, Samuel Harrell, Freddie Gray, Philando Castile, Terrence Crutcher, Alton Sterling, Jamar Clark, Jeremy McDowell.
Say their names. We're honoring Sean Reed, Keith McLeod, Stephen DeMarco Taylor, Terry Lee Chapman, Arian McCree, Ross Anthony, Terrence Franklin, Miles Hall, Sandra Bland, Anthony Ashford.
Say their name. William Green, Samuel David Mallard, Junior Prosper, Botham Sheen John, Wayne Willer, E.J. Bradford, Michael Dean, Jamie Johnson, D'Angelo Stelworth, Natasha McKinney.
We say their names: Tyree Crawford, Lorenzo Hayes, Antoine Rose, Stephen Clark, Haseen Muhammad, Troy Robinson, Michael Lee Marshall, Thenan H. Burhi, Curtis Jordan, Darius Tarver.
Say their names: Albert Davis, George Mann, Kwame KK Jones, Betty Jones, Devon Bailey, Leroy Browning, Christopher Whitfield, Anthony Hill, Eric Logan, Jamarion Robinson.
We say their name: Gregory Hill Jr., Jaquavion Slation, Norman Cooper, Ryan Twyman, Jermaine Benjamin, Brandon Weber, Latanya Haggerty, Jimmy Atchison, Willie McCoy, E.J. Fitzgerald Bradford Jr.
We say their name: Dietrich Griffin, Brian Acton, Jamel Robinson, DeAndre Ballard, Robert Lawrence White, Anthony Lamar Smith, Ramalay Rim, Manuel Logans Jr., Chris Jackson, Spencer McCain.
We say their names: Kendrick McDade, Lamontez Jones, Ashams Manley, Wendell Allen, Larry Jackson Jr., Margaret Laverne Mitchell, Jonathan Farrell, Jordan Baker, Kevin Bajoy, Breonna Taylor.
We say their names. Now we want to honor everybody
Yes.
that we didn't get a chance to mention. It is a huge list of names that we didn't even get a chance to go through, but we thought we wanted to take a moment to pause today and definitely honor our ancestors. And now I'm just going to go around the table, even the ones that we didn't mention, the ones that we don't know of, because we know it's a lot of them that have been slain that didn't get recorded, that didn't get a chance to even get justice, or even for us to fight for justice.
Yes.
Now we'll go around this round table really quick and give some remarks. So I'll just let whoever wants to get started go first.
I'll let one of you ladies go because I opened. So,
well, I'll say this. I was talking to some of the extended Black family, you know, on my show on FlyNubianQueenTV.com, and we've been talking about, since the Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd high-profile cases in particular came to light. We've been discussing it as being Holy Week uprisings, but because we're into another week now, I believe it's appropriate to maybe just call them Holy Uprisings 2020. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned that name, really I'm redoubling it, that because after over 100 and some odd cities went up in flames and millions of dollars in damage and numerous deaths and thousands of arrests in the 60s, after that time frame, they called it Holy Week Uprising. And I think it's important because some folk that don't understand our God nature might think that to be blasphemy to call this particular time Holy Week Uprising. And I say to you, beloved, that the Black woman in America, and by extension, those around the world, we are very special to our Creator. We're very special to the Most High. And as direct descendants of the God, that's my belief, we must understand that this is a holy time, or a set apart time. And while there is bloodshed, while there is pain, while there is grief, while there is moaning, those are things that are also similar to labor pains, birthing something. And the blood, the holy blood that soaks the ground and the streets of this country that was built by us and has been sustained by us is holy, and it's nurturing a new world that we're bringing to bear. And so, yes, it is difficult, it is painful, but if we can recognize this time as a holy time, and we decide that no more are we going to let our 465-year-old open enemy rule over us anymore. The moment we decide that we're going to engage them differently, we're going to see a new reality, a new world come to pass, and we'll have everything to do with it. I want to say this also. We love to discuss the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Marcus Garvey. We love to talk about the Black Panther Party movement and SCLC, Dr. Martin King's organization, and Fannie Lou Hamer, and our dear beloved ancestors, right? We discuss we lionize the civil rights movement of the 20th century. But the question then becomes, what about now? What about this day? What about this time? If the baton is passed, are we going to drop the ball? I submit to you, it's not by accident that we've been born in this most unusual time. We're in this time-space continuum, beloved, in order for us to do wonders. And I want to let you know that we are assisted by an army you can see and an army that you can't see. This is a holy time, and it's my prayer that we rise to the occasion.
Yes.
It's my prayer that we don't punk out. It's my prayer that we don't become selfish or that we are too blind and unthinking, that we can recognize that the times that we're in, we were born for this.
Yes.
These are not ordinary times, y'all. And what we do now is also a seed sown for the hereafter. A time after now, where we can make a difference in our day. We can make a mark on our world, in our time, that cannot be erased. This is Holy Uprising 2020.
Amen.
Amen.
I can't add anything else to that.
Amen.
Please do.
Doing some tag team preaching over here.
Please do.
Yes. Yeah, I want to welcome the family and, checking us out right here at FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women like you.
Yes.
This memorial service that we're doing on this roundtable is especially important and really resonates with me when we're out there, when some of us are actually out there in the streets advocating for replacing a system of anti-Black violence and genocide and racism, white supremacy with a system of justice, and to create Black empowerment for our people. We have to be really, really on code and hell-bent on not letting our movement and not letting the memories and the names of these lives that the names that we call and the ones that we didn't call, we can't let their legacies and what happened to them become lost or the movement become co-opted and take us off of our game and our focus because every other group is using this as an opportunity to push their own agenda. We have to stay focused, and we have to also push the narrative that this is not just about one person. Yes, the lynching of our brother, Ahmaud Arbery, our sister, Breonna Taylor, and our brother, George Floyd, those were the final straws. George Floyd's death, his assassination on camera was the final straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, in the Black community. But we're out here not just for one person who has died at the hands of law enforcement, but for all of us, right? Yeah. And so we also have to remember that we want complete justice. We don't want just charges. We want convictions and we want policies and everything else to change. Yes, I'm really grateful that more folks are rising up and becoming active and aware of what's happening to us and what has been happening to us for over 400 years in this country. And we know that we're not going to stop by just chanting or marching in the streets, that the movement must continue, and we have to keep our people's legacies and their lives and what they stood for and like how their lives were cut short by law enforcement, the system of apartheid. We have to keep that front and center and know that it's not just about one of them or one of us, it's about all of us as Black African people. So amen to y'all.
Amen. Amen.
You know, one of the things that I thought about, even as the protest had began, as it became clear that we had enough, you got the young people out in the street. And what I did was I just did a quick Google search. I said, who are our revolutionaries? I know that we have, I thought about our ancestors, from the Haitian Revolution. I thought about our ancestors that were here. And I started just looking them up, and I just started praying for that spirit to embody these young people. I know some of us are so disconnected from our history and we don't know. So my prayer was that spirit will just embody them, that strategy and warfare tactics that would be needed while they're out there, that would just begin to download unto them. And one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that we even had this memorial today is to honor those who were slain and the lives were lost, so that now we can let them know we honor you. Now we ask that you energize us, you fill us, you fill these young people while they're out here in the street. You cause them to remember who you are, direct them in which way they should go. Because while they're out here, law enforcement and the government itself wants to impede what we're trying to do, but give them strategy within inwardly, cause them to rise up spiritually so that it becomes more than just a physical thing, but we're adding that spiritual component that Vicky oftentimes speak of, and I know my friend Jade and Ronique as well. So we want to embed that into the movement. But when we honor our ancestors, we give them an opportunity to get involved in what we have going on, because we say we honor you by saying your name, but we want to honor you in a greater way and by seeking justice, as Jade was just speaking on.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. I agree. I agree with everything that all the sisters say on the round table. Again, we wanted to come together to say their names and to honor our ancestors and to really understand why the energy is the way it is. You know, a lot of people are starting to get connected spiritually and then even understanding the deeper roots of the Bible as well and understand this was already written.
Come on.
So it's not as if this is something that wasn't already written. A lot of people hate to give credit there too, but it's in the Bible as well. So get deep into that history of whatever religion you're in, because it's very critical that you do, especially during this time. Also learn how to ground yourself. You know, I know a lot of people are talking about they're not sleeping, they're not doing this, they're not able to, you know, work, etc. But it's very critical that our Black minds that are so powerful, as Vicky reminds us all the time, that we are at our best as we go through this shift. It is so critical.
Come on.
Extremely critical. I can't think enough. Drink your water. Make sure you're taking your turmeric. Do your tea. We're still dealing with a virus, which we don't know what's going on. Make sure you're boosting your immune system. Eat healthy. All those things are very critical.
That's
for
right.
our frontliners, our backliners.
Come on.
Everything. I want to touch on that because I think that's so critical that we understand it. And even though I'm in the business realm, but Vicky always reminds me that business is warfare.
That's right. That's what I heard Minister Farrakhan say. Say it again,
Always.
Queen.
So I'm always fighting for our businesses.
Yes.
Always. Building businesses.
Yes.
Seriously, I was trying to working on a new business today before I got on this live. I mean, I'm always working on that because I understand business is a critical part. It's not the only part, but it's a critical part of our infrastructure.
That's right.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and close out with this for my part, just to remind you, and I'm going to add a piece to it. Bernice King, even though I agree with her sometimes and don't agree with her other times, but it's one thing that she's been posting that I think is so critical right now, because I see so many people saying, well, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, they're not doing this. Right now, it's about the collective.
Come on.
What are we doing as a collective?
There's
no more looking for a leader. The leader has to understand it's about the collective that has already been done and tried. Our ancestors want us to innovate as we continue this fight so we can shift things to the next level. Beautiful. So remember, be gentle with each other, family. Black family, be one. Drop the B1s in the comment. I've seen people doing it all way. Go ahead and drop it. Black family.
B1, Black first. That's right.
Go ahead and drop it in the comments. The work is offline. The work is online. The work includes presence. The work includes absence. The work is virtual. The work is in the streets. The work is in the legislative bills. The work is in art. The work is in policies. The work is at the polls. The work is where we are.
Come on.
The work continues after emotions die down.
Wow.
I'm going to say that again.
Wow.
The work continues after emotions die down. That is so critical for us to understand, because I feel like we get emotional, we come together, the collective is moving, the collective is making things happen. Then we forget. The collective goes back to whatever they think the new normal or their normal life is. Then we have something else happen. The collective energizes back up, come back out. We have to stop that. It has to stay consistent and constant until the shift occurs.
Yes, and the code is the leader. And I do respect leadership. We have a lot of elders who've been out here doing the work. We will be remiss if we didn't take this time out to thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for all of his work, all of his service, every single thing that he has poured into us, and telling us over and over and over again for over 40 years or 60 years, what we need to be doing. Same thing with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We want to thank Dr. Claude Anderson, all of the elders, all of the leaders who have really worked and dedicated their lives to this work, securing the Black community and Black empowerment. And as my mama and the old folks would say, a hard head makes a soft behind.
That's right. That's right.
That's true.
That's right.
And plenty of the ancestors and leaders in the past and now that's coming out that we have not recognized. We still understand leaders, but we got to understand the collective. You know, the collective is the new leadership, even though they need organizing, even though we know we need all those things, but the collective is where we have to keep it moving.
And I'm reminded of something else too, real quick. If I could read this quote from Marcus Garvey that he said when he wrote from the Atlanta prison of February 10th of 1925. Can I just read you a quick brief?
Yes.
Of course, one of our ancestors, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, he says this: look for me in the whirlwind or the storm. Look for me all around you. For with God's grace, I shall come and bring with me countless millions of Black slaves who have died in America and the West Indies and the millions in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life.
That's what I'm talking about.
You mentioned the ancestors. And so I want to say this because I know there's a lot of our Black family that's has respect for the Bible and scriptures, and that are Christian. And even if you're not, there's still gems within scripture, even though our open enemy has tampered with it. But the problem is when you take on the interpretation of the scripture from your open enemy. But when your Black brothers and sisters help you to decode it, somebody talk Black to me, you can utilize that information, because these are love letters. This is insight that our ancestors left for us for this time. One of the things I want to remind you of something, as it's written. Do you remember the time when they talked about Jesus of 2,000 years ago? And he was questioned, and they were trying to determine whether or not he's the Messiah. I believe that there is a Jesus in our midst, by the way, but I'm going to go to this principle of the Jesus of 2,000 years ago, who was a Black man also. They said to him, it's written that Elisha was supposed to precede you. Do y'all remember hearing about that in scripture? And they were saying to justify whether or not he's really the Messiah. Guess what he said? He made it clear to them. He said, basically, whether you know it or not, Elisha has already come. They were talking about, they were referring to the what? The John the Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
That if you even search the Old Testament and New Testament, you find that the John the Baptist dressed and behaved in many ways just like Elisha. What was he trying to say? I'm trying to get folks to say in that very Bible that you read. I know they gave you one interpretation of it, but what did he mean when he said Elisha had already come, but he was really referring to John the Baptist? I'm trying to let you know that the spirit of our ancestors often assist and aid us in this time in ways that you may not know of. There's another one I ain't gonna preach to you. Luke chapter 24, I believe it is, when Jesus was on the road to Emmaus. They said what? They did not know that when they were on the road with him for a long time, that they were actually with the one that they had believed was resurrected, because he did not look the same. His countenance was different. And it was only when he disappeared after they broke bread, right? That they realized that they were actually in his presence. What was up with that? I'm just trying to say that what you think and how you think God may form and come may actually be different. And that's based on your traditional scriptures, right, where you're going to have to answer some of those questions. So look for them in a different way, in you and in I, and this day and in this time. Anyway, that's all.
Yes, thank you.
You know, I love that. And I would like to add this one little bit to it. I know when we look at Black society as a whole, we know that there's a lot of repair that is needed within our community. But for me, there is something that is so different and unique about this time. You know, I'm from LA, so I experienced the LA riots. So I know what it's like to riot and have National Guard come in and the city burn up. I know I experienced it first. I knew what the frustration felt like, even though I was a teenager. When I was a kid and growing up in LA, and when NWA came out with that song, F the Police, I was not a criminal. I ain't know nothing about being a criminal, but I understood what they meant because and how they felt, because I witnessed police harass cousins, friends, fathers, dad, you know, I saw it, neighbors, I saw it. So I knew what they felt. I knew what they meant by when they were saying it. So to go from the 80s to the 90s and what we experienced here, but it's something about the way that this feel.
Come on.
It's, to me, there's no turning back. To me, it's only going to move forward. To me, it's only going to ramp up. I don't see this thing dying down. I don't see this thing. I believe that we have hit that tipping point, and we're just going to go further and further and further until we see justice, those things that we've been praying for, our ancestors have prayed for, those things that they hope to have seen and they could not see in their lifetime. I believe that time is now. I believe that the spirit is so heavy and so high that we don't have an option to go back. We don't have an option for for, because it's like it said, it was written, it was prophesied that this time was going to come, and it is upon us now. So I know we a mess. I know we need some help. I know we need some work. I know we may prefer our young people to do things one way or another, but let me tell you something. I was so impressed. I am so impressed by our millennials. If we have any watching, I want you all and the generations in between or after the millennials, I want you all to be proud of these young people.
Yes.
I have a 22-year-old daughter.
Wow.
And my daughter, I know they spoke and they have a courage and a boldness that we did not necessarily have during our generation when things were going on. And my daughter told me, she said, Mom, you know, I have friends that are not Black. And I said, yeah. She said, if they're silent, I'm done with them.
Come on.
We're on Twitter and we're letting these influencers know.
Come on.
Do you stand but with us? If you do, you need to speak up.
That's right.
And so we even have some interracial, you know, marriages, you know, close ties in our family. And she sometimes spends time with them. And so she went to that one person who's not Black in the family and said, hey, you've married into this Black family. You see what's going on? What's your take on this? How do you feel about this? And so she was pleased with whatever her response was, but she said, Mom, if she did not respond in a way that was sufficient to me, I was done with her. I know that's my loved one's family. I was done. So I'm telling you, these young, listen,
come on.
They are not playing.
Come on.
Understand the spirit that is within these young people. We are the tide is changing.
Come on.
We have a few different generations before us. We have some that want to hold on to the old, but they're going to be moved out of the way. And what is being ushered in, it can't be stopped.
Can't be stopped.
And you know what? I want to shout out all the brothers and sisters who have been out there and those who have not been outside necessarily protesting, who have been supporting in every single way that they can.
Yes.
I have a message for 45, the Antichrist, your military soldiers of deplorables, not them, nor the flashbang hand grenades they've been throwing at us, nor the rubber bullets they've been shooting at us, nor the tear gas that they've been spraying us with, nor the pepper spray or anything else with any intimidation is going to stop. Is going to stop the fall of this disgusting regime of hatred and evil and wickedness and white supremacy. And we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, and we shall not be intimidated. We are going to continue to resist. Those of us, you know, who are resisting, whether it's through politics, whether it's through education, any and all forms that we can, the movement will continue.
Yes.
But African people, Black people will get justice, and we will be exalted. Okay.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right. I was so encouraged by what you just said, Jade, and also Rashida, when you said, what did you say, Rashida? You said, we're not looking back.
Not looking back.
Let me tell y'all something. This is not no Taco Bell Instagram movement moment, baby. We in this for the long haul. And when you said don't look back, I was reminded of that war phrase about burn the bridges. About burn the bridges so that you're not tempted to go back to quote unquote your normal, that you're looking forward, that you're saying that when this dies down for other people, that not enough attention is here, you determine every day that this is your life. You're determined that you're going to make a mark that can't be erased. That's what I was thinking about, Queen, when you said not looking back. Make sure, Black family, we're in this for the long haul. We're determined that we're going to get across that finish line, and we're not going to drop the baton of the blood-soaked, the very names that we mentioned. What did you say earlier, Rashida? It's a cost. Y'all, it's a cost. It's a price that's been paid.
Yes.
And what we look like just burping and having indigestion and just sitting up, moving on, watching the movie and just move like this is all life is. And the only inconvenience you have is you burping and having a little indigestion. No, baby. This is our finest hour. May we rise to the occasion. I'm done.
Yes. The gavel on that.
You hit the gavel. Well, make sure you guys share out this broadcast.
There you go for you.
Yes, hit the gavel. I didn't know you had it, Miss Vicky. You always have it near you, though.
I just finished my other show. That's why I had it.
Yeah. Make sure you share out this broadcast, family, so people
can
definitely hear from the queens. Take a moment to pause and understand that this was a cost. To get to this moment. It wasn't just by happenstance.
Yes.
You have to take those time to honor our ancestors. And just Rashida and even Jade and even Vicky, you know, it was one moment when they came out. What was it with Black Identity
extremism? Yes, they was busted August of 2017. Yeah. They was busted August of 2017. That's when it was leaked.
Yes, 2017. And I remember reading that, and I was so disturbed, and it hurt my soul so much. I had begun to shed some tears. And then let me tell you what stopped me though, sis. Let me tell you what stopped me. I began to think about how all of us complain about the youth and how they don't pay attention to authority, or how they you know, they're not listening to us. They're not this. And at that moment, I realized every generation comes in with what they need to do what they're supposed to do.
Come on.
There is no way without our youth and the young people. That's why Rashida said you must be proud.
Yes.
That the shift would occur that needs to happen in this regime and for it to fall if they were obeying orders.
Come on.
Yeah.
Say what you want to say.
Come on.
But if they were obeying the people that try to reprimand them, that try to get on TV and tell them, go home, sit down, we would not be where we are today.
That's right.
So you need to recognize where we are, study your history, get connected deeply. If you don't know, start reading, start asking questions, start learning, start whatever you need to do. Even if you don't know, you don't get in the way. What Miss Vicky say? Don't get in the way. Don't stop it, because the thing about it is this has to happen for our generation after us.
Absolutely.
We cannot continue down this road of getting to zero median wealth, making sure the wealth is at the same it's been at for hundreds of years, continue with mass incarceration. This is not how life is supposed to be for God's people.
Come on.
Girl, don't get me to preaching.
Come on. It's too late. You preaching.
We all preaching.
This is just not it. But at that moment, I realized that every generation after us is going to come in what they need to do what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
And it's for us to open the gates, to continue to guide them, to make sure they're protected in whatever way you're comfortable, to make sure they're protected. Make sure you're doing your piece. If you're donating to bail funds, if you're covering them with white light, if you're meditating, if you're praying, if whatever you need to do it, and make sure they're protected so they can continue on in this fight. And like it's the long haul. It is the long haul. We're in for a major shift. So understand that, and let's continue to let it happen, and let people know you don't understand what's going on. Shh.
That's right. That's right.
Well, can I say one thing I probably shouldn't say, but I'm gonna say it anyway? I'll tell you one of the things that I've been doing.
Yes.
I've been getting people trained on how to get a legal firearm. That's what I've been doing.
Okay.
I've been sending informations and links and taking them to places, and you understand what I'm saying?
Wow, yes,
we're gonna use multiple ways of warfare. Do you understand? We're gonna build up the war chest and a whole lot of other chests. So,
all the chests are gonna get built.
All
these sisters right here.
My.
Gonna get built.
Yes.
You know, there are different kinds of soldiers, and you know, we all have our role to play. And don't forget, Black family, as you come in, make sure, if you would, that you like and that you share this broadcast out. Hit the link and share it on your social media platforms. Don't forget to text the word Queens. Somebody put that in the chat for us. I'm not looking at the comments right now, but somebody put the word Queens. Text the word Queens to 31996. so that you're able to receive phone notifications when some of us go live from time to time. We're so pleased that you're with us today, and we want to make sure that you're subscribed and that you hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss any of our content. We're not the only queens here, beloved, and we don't want you to miss a beat, especially during this Holy Week uprising time.
Yes.
I agree. Any other comments? Are we ready to close out yet?
I'm fired up. I'm ready to get back out there now, y'all.
I heard that.
Put my mask on and get everything ready. You know, my water and everything in case they pepper spraying. They decide to pepper spray down there and act a fool. But I want to definitely get back out there in the field, and we got to keep this movement going. We definitely cannot grow weary in this hour.
That's
it is time for us to continue on and honor our people who have lost their lives at the hands of law enforcement. At this point, it is being live streamed and it's being televised, but this has been going on to our people for over 400 years, you know, at the hands of this particular enemy. All right. And so you know, God is on our side. So with that, I'm ready to get back out there and make sure that once the government and everything else opens up, we got some policies and we have some things that need to change, and they need to change now.
Now, and safety to you while you're out there,
Yes.
and those that you're
Yes.
connected with as well. Yes.
Yes. Yes, that's what I was thinking. I just want to say it has been a complete pleasure to be on with you ladies today. This is my first live, I believe, with Jade and Vicky. I think we did a Great Black Debates together. I think I hosted
Yes, we did.
But yes, but I am just so delighted. It is such a pleasure and such a joy. And just as I heard you ladies speaking, I just saw the various ways that is represented in forms of us contributing what we can. Jade out on the front lines, you know, reminding us as we fight, we got to be mindful of legislation. You know, Ronit building the business,
Yes.
She brings the spiritual warfare component, helping to wake our consciousness, helping to remind us of who we are as Black people, who we are, who the value in who we are as God's original people, and all of it aids us. So it has just been a pleasure to be on with you ladies today, and just to be back with my Fly Nubian Queen family. So thank you for having me.
Thank you all. It's my pleasure as well. All of you. Thank you.
Thank you too. I want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for agreeing to do the live. You know, so I want to thank you for that. And it's a pleasure also to be with the queens. I like miss the energy, of course, and stuff, but you know, I got a lot of work that I'm doing. So, you know, I'll come in. You guys can always pull me out of retirement whenever y'all need to.
Yes, man.
Round table. I have it recorded. So for a special round table, I will come on with my Queen Vicky, Queen Jade, and Queen Rashida at any time to lend my voice to Fly Nubian Queen family, which I do love dearly. So,
we love you back.
Are you?
All of you.
Okay, so I think we're good. So make sure you share out this broadcast, everyone. Make sure you go to flynubianqueen.com and subscribe. Hopefully I get this right. And text Queens to 31996. And if you are V1, drop it in the comments and share this out with your family. Share this out with anybody you feel like that needs to hear this. Anybody that's on the front lines, anybody that you know, needs to take a moment to pause, to say their name. Let them hear this broadcast and let them hear from all the queens and all the different perspectives you have on the panel.
That's right.
Remember, times are changing, family. I'm excited. We're revved up. We're gonna keep going. We're in a shift. We got this. That's what I'll say.
Yes.
Thank you. Everybody be blessed.
Be blessed. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.